Hello there, my name's Vince from My Mate Vince, and in this video today we have yet another job lot of faulty Amazon returns. So electronic items that have been sent back to Amazon by customers because of various faults. So let's not waste any time, let's get straight into the video. We've got quite a few items to get through. Sit back, enjoy. Hopefully by the end we will have some fixes. Let's get started.
Pet water fountain.
Here we have a Feel Needy, great name, pet water fountain, and this one, it looked like there wasn't even an attempt to turn it on and get it working because the power supply was still wrapped up in the little bag here. The seal wasn't even broken. So I have no idea why this was returned. I haven't bothered putting the filters in here because it's a waste of a filter. As far as I can see, this is working. Whoever has this next can use the filters. You put it together, you turn it on, and it just starts pumping water out, and that's it. And then when it goes past this bit here, it goes down in. You can fill it up. There's a little plug here that you can do this to, and you can see the water will go straight through, and then you can do that. So yeah, this is working absolutely fine. What I don't get about this though is it'd be different if I had a sensor on it, so when the animal comes up to it, it turns on. Maybe it would be too slow, but you wouldn't really want that running in your house all day long. I don't quite get it. What's wrong with just a bowl of water? I don't know why this is any better than a bowl of water. You know, I just showed this to my wife and I was saying that why is it any better than the big bowl, and she did raise a valid point. It's got filters, so it's going to be cleaner. If there was a bowl left out, maybe all day, maybe that water would be a bit dirtier than if this is recycling through the filter all the time, because the filter's built into this bit here and it's dropping through here, getting filtered and coming back up again. So maybe the water does remain cleaner.
The best quality water fountain humans have ever made.
Here we have a Diner Living indoor tabletop fountain, water fountain with LED light and calming water sound relaxation fountain for home, bedroom, office decor. I dread to think. Let's open it up and see what it's doing. Oh my word. Anyway, it's still a current item. Here it is, and things have been selling. 4.2 stars, 87 reviews, so clearly they must have sold 10, 20, 30, 40 times that, because not many people leave reviews. And it is the grand price of £28.47, 20% off. It doesn't look like nearly £30 worth. Now, there is two little broken bits of plastic, but that's just from these corner bits. You see, we have these bits here for strength. So it's not going to make any difference, I don't think, to the operation. Oh, actually, do you know what they're for? They're for these resting on it. But if it's resting on the other three, I think it's going to be okay. But maybe the person who bought it new didn't want that. So it could be as simple as that. I'm going to add water to it, plug this in here. It looks like we've got a little LED light, and this is the pump. And it looks like there's a control maybe for the height that it puts the water out at. Well, here it is in all its glory. Now, it's supposed to make relaxing sounds. I've got that on full, and the only sound I can hear is the whirring off the motor. I don't actually hear much dripping going on. A tiny little bit of water sounds. Now, fair play to the original owner of this. It is actually faulty, but the only thing that's wrong with it is these two need gluing in, because check this out. Can you see it wants to fall like that there? Yep. So it's not balanced in the corner there because it needs that support, and it hasn't got that support. So they are actually important. That's it. And you can see I've glued up that corner piece there now, and it doesn't look too bad. You can clearly see where it's cracked, but it should have enough strength just to rest the fountain bit on it. So I think if anybody was in the market for one of these, which I don't know why, then I'm sure if they cost £30 new, that somebody would happily pay £10 for that.
Expensive pet feeder.
Here we have a pet feeder, a Yumshare dual hopper with camera, and they're pricey, £109. That looks to be the same model there. So let's take it out of the box and see what's wrong with it. Right, it takes the massive D-size batteries, 4 of them, and I'm just trying to work out how it goes together, and I've spotted this. So it might be user error. Can you see this bit of plastic that's loose there? That should be in this fitting here, which is a bit like a bayonet fitting, so I presume it goes in. I'm not quite sure, but you can see there's a gap here, and that one is in position. That's like locked in there, but I can't turn this to unlock it because of this thing isn't in the right little bit. In fact, you know what? That's the small size. So look at the size of that one there. Yeah, it's like 2 fingers. Look at the size here. It's just over 1 finger. And if you look here, the small bits here and the big bits here. So they've put them in the wrong way. So I don't know how I'm going to spin that round, but I think this is just user error. Here we go. Here we go. I got it out. Fantastic. Right. So this thing spins this here. So I presume that sort of turns and lets the dry feed through. It's a dual hopper to let the dry feed through. So this needs to go with the small bit there and the big bit there. So it needs to go on that way, and then that will lock in, I think. Will it? Oh, okay, 1 second. Maybe you line that up with that. Line that up there. There we go. Ah. Now, did you see that? That went in nice. Now, will that fit on here? This way. Is there a red mark at the back? No. There we go. Right, let me work out, because it definitely got life here. You have to connect it to your phone, I think. Hold down to dispense food. Release button to stop food. Let's see. I bet you have to connect it to your phone to begin with. Oh no, it's working. There, look. Look at that. Did you see that? Okay, I was going to use cereal because it's going to mimic pet food, but then I thought it's not very good to waste food, especially showing that on camera. So I've got a load of nuts and bolts. So I've just pulled some random nuts and bolts in there and random nuts, bolts, washers, screws in there. So let's see if it will dispense it. This might get jammed up because these are hard and some of them are big, but let's just see if we do number 1 here to begin with. So holding it in. Okay, so it's not overly happy with that, but it's good that these are rubber because they bend. Okay, so you can see that did work there. Now let's see if number 2 dispenses, which I think is the bigger one. Yeah, that's where I put the bolts that side. You can see it's working. It's also got a camera here as well. If I hadn't seen that inside bit, then I would test it all because you need to connect it up to the app. I presume you're going to have an account. I'm going to say that this is all working.
Radio controlled clock.
Now we'll get back to the Amazon items in just a minute, but first of all, a massive thank you from today's sponsor, PCBWay. Now, if you're into tinkering, repairing or making your own projects, PCBWay can help turn your circuit ideas into proper professional boards. Now check this out, PCBWay currently have 60% off flexible PCBs. The advantages of having a flexible PCB is it has excellent flexibility, so you can fit it where you might not be able to fit a rigid circuit board. Also, you've got space and weight savings, they're very durable and improved heat dissipation. And you don't just have to have single layer flexible PCBs, you can also have double layer and also multi-layer flexible PCBs. So if you fancy building something that bends but doesn't break, check out PCBWay. Links in the description down below. Now let's get back on with the video. Faded eyesight, grey hair, and worse than all of that, my son beat me in an arm wrestle today.
Oh, shut up, porcupine head.
Radio controlled clock.
Now here we have a radio control clock in a very, very, very sorry state. Not only, annoyingly, is there bits of polystyrene everywhere, but the glass is completely smashed. Now the glass isn't such a big issue because there is a glass place near me that would be able to cut that glass and it wouldn't cost much at all. It only looks to be about 2mm glass. It's kind of like old shed type glass. But the plastic's broken around here. So I think I just want to see, because I've only ever had a digital radio control clock and that was set to European time, so it was always an hour different than UK time, and everybody said there would be something in the settings, but there isn't. And also there was reviews online saying, why is it sold in the UK when you can't set it to UK time? I want to see, because I've never actually messed with a radio control clock because that was working. It was just in a job lot of faulty stuff because it was sold in the UK when it should have been sold in Europe. Now, let me see if I can take this bit of glass out so I don't cut myself. There we go. Right, I'm just going to put that glass in here. See, I'm wondering if there was a way that we could, there's broken glass down the bottom there as well. If we could take that silver cover off, then it might still be usable as a clock in its own right, you know, without this bit here. So what I have to do is get all the hands back on, and also they're a little bit bent up as well. So there's a button at the back once you put a battery in where you can reset it. It counts its way all the way round, it rotates round until it gets to midnight. But my hands and stuff aren't in the right place. But that's fine because I take them all off and then I place them back in the right place. Bang on midnight, the hour, the minute, and the second hand as well. There's also screws to undo to take off the silver bezel. Unfortunately, without the silver bezel, not that it looks good anyway, but it just looks incomplete because you can see the black moulding isn't grey and it's got holes in it because you need to have the silver bezel on to hide everything else. So yeah, this isn't repairable. It needs new glass as well as that. It would need a new silver bezel. But I want to see, does it update itself via the radio control side of things? I'm not sure if it's going to work in the house, so I put it out in the garden. While I'm doing that, see if it updates the time, let's move on to another item.
Automatic trash can.
Fingers crossed this one is not going to be working. And also, more good news. Look at this. Ta-da! The radio control side of it does work. So maybe that was broken in transit and that's why it was sent back. Oh, it's just not meant to be. It works every single time. What I do like about them is that it just works so quickly and there's no hit and miss. It just works. I love the way that it just goes up like that really, really quick. If you said to me before that you'd get an electric one of these, I'd be like, it's pointless, you know, just use your foot on the pedal. But I kind of get it. I do quite like it. You could even just hover your foot over it, couldn't you? And then just throw something in it.
Shoe and boot dryer.
Here we have, wait for it, a boot and shoe dryer. Did you ever think anything like this would ever exist? I didn't, never even heard about it before, never even thought there'd be a market for it before, but clearly somebody has made one. So let's open up and see what it's doing. To stick up for it, when my wife washes trainers, like my daughters and sons and stuff, they're just left on the radiator or put outside in the sun to dry for quite a long time. So maybe this would cut that time down. Maybe there is an actual need for a boot and shoe dryer. Yes, it is faulty, thank God for that. So it doesn't appear to be doing anything. There's nothing coming up on the display at all. And I'm plugged in and turned on. You can open it up here to different amounts. It says push. So you have to push this in here to drop it down. And then look, even these pop out here. So don't ask me why. When I did push these things out, it reminded me of a Star Wars toy. But I can't really remember what it was. And maybe it's just the feeling of it that reminds me of a Star Wars toy from the 80s. Right, okay, let's bring it over to the mat and, I suppose, take it apart and see what it's supposed to be doing. I mean, I'm assuming that when you lift this up, that you just hit drying or timer, and then something should liven up here. There doesn't appear to be any on and off switch. I think this one might be interesting. Look in here, it says you don't just have to do shoes and boots. You can do socks, hats, and other accessories. Right now, what has made this seemingly new product fail? I don't think it's going to be anything too major. And we have crosshead screws, Phillips, I think, underneath here. So let's and we've got screws up here as well. So let's undo all the screws and hopefully we can get to the bottom here. Well, they're too small, so let me get my special screwdriver. Ta-da! Are you going to work? Yes, of course you are. Okay, now, bottom come off. No, why do you not want to come off? Oh, there might be a hidden screw under there maybe. Just, I'm going to undo these as well, just in case you need to undo this to take the bottom off. Whoops. Right. That's off. Whoops, hold on, everything's coming flying. So this is keeping it in. Oh, there we go. Oh, so it's grooved round there, and that keeps both sides together. Right, okay. All right, eagle-eyed viewers. What do you spot? I'll go from a few different angles. Has that given it away? So we have the mains coming in here. The mains lead. Yeah, I'm hoping you've all seen this. I'm going to give you a couple more seconds. And it comes up on the blue and the brown. Then what happens? The brown's connected through, but what's the blue doing? Nothing. Where should the blue go? I presume onto this here. Yeah, so that little wire nut or clamp thing has failed there. Yeah, these are little crimps, aren't they? Let's get the tweezers. Do you know what? Let me see if I can open that up, and I might be able to reuse that one. And then I've kept it all original. I could just use a Wago clamp, and it would work just fine. But it'd be nice to have it completely original. So I do try to open up the little metal bit, but I'm fighting a bit of a losing battle with it. But it doesn't matter because I've actually got a crimp and little crimps to crimp down as well. What I do is I'm just using the metal part of it, and then I'm just going to glue it using some hot glue into this white plastic bit. And that way then it all looks original, and the metal bit is crimping the two wires nicely because my crimper is like a hexagonal crimper, so it crimps it from all different angles going in, and that way then it's going to be as strong and as good as it was from new. Well, clearly better because this one failed. So I'm just doing that now, and then we're going to put it all back together, and I'm going to show you it working at the very end. Right, I've just looked them up, and they're actually cheaper than I thought they would be. It looks like they're £20, £24, that sort of price. Obviously you have to pay postage on that. So yeah, I don't know why. I thought because it was a bit of an unusual product that it might cost more. So let's plug it in. Now let's see if, there we go. Off, brilliant. So pretend now we've got some boots on here. Ah, there we go, it comes out of here and here. Let's open those out. Does it come out of here as well? Mainly out of the front. I thought you'd get a bit more air out of here. I'm going to say something. I think in my house this will actually get used. I thought this was a joke product when I first of all seen it, but I think now, I thought I was going to be scared to use that, but now I know there's not much heat and not much air coming out. I think I'd be happily put a pair of shoes on there. If Ben comes home from school like sopping wet because it's raining, then put his shoes on there for a bit, or trainers. I think they'll dry up pretty good. Yeah, better than I thought.
A very painful floodlight.
Here we have an LED little floodlight. I don't know what's the problem with it because there's no way of powering it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a plug and just temporarily put it on here, plug it in and see what it's doing. I can see it's got a little PIR sensor that all seems to be very loose. Also, there's no real way into this. So I think you're going to have to undo the screws, and this looks like it's glued in place to make it waterproof. So even getting into it might be completely damaging. But let's stick a plug on with a 3 amp fuse and see what it's doing. Now I've left the leads factory standard on purpose. I haven't cut them back. So then if it is an easy fix, it means somebody will be able to use it with the intended length on the leads there, because you wouldn't normally be plugging it into something like this. It would go to some sort of fuse spur or something along those lines. Right, let me put the back on and then we'll plug it in. First things first, I'm just going to push this home here because this is all very loose. And you can see it's also dented here as well. Right, there we go. That's back home there. Right. I hope now this doesn't trip anything. I'm going to plug it in now and turn it on. Okay. Right, you can see there that it looks like we have multiple lights gone. That's strange. Okay, well, it's certainly not very bright, is it? Let's see if we can take it apart, because we've got nothing to lose anyway. It's not working. Now this isn't going to be fun. I did try to fix some little lights before. I think they were G9 LED ones. And I know that when there's black dots, that they failed. And I can actually see quite a few black dots here. Here, and here. So maybe those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have knocked out the rest of them, depending on how they're wired up. Because, you know, maybe they're only partially working or something like that. Not too sure, but you know, we definitely have to get into it. I do think it's a little LED problem rather than anything to do with the driver. So this is IP65, which means it's like dust proof and waterproof as far as rain's concerned, and I think jets of water. So there is going to be, it's going to be quite hard to get this out, I think. Now I'm going to use plastic because this is glass, and if I use this, I think it's going to smash, but I just don't know if the plastic's going to be strong enough. So I'm not going to end up using 4 of these. I will just try to use this if this one breaks. If we can get into it, it might be fun, but the glass part here is not fun. Let's just bend that so we can say we fixed something. So the beautiful thing about editing is that you can make something look a lot less painful than it was. For me, I've still got the memories of doing this. I tried to get into this for about 20 minutes. I was trying so hard and adding so much heat that even the paint on the actual frame was starting to bubble up and come off. And this glass showed no sign of coming out whatsoever. When I say it was stuck in there well, I know other people will think, oh no, I would have been able to get that out. I don't think you would have been able to. So I was pouring IPA down there. The problem is it's not glued in, it's like siliconed in, and the IPA was making no difference at all. The heat was making no difference at all. As well as that, this is like a big metal surround. All the heat's just getting drained away. Anyway, eventually I'm going to show you the fun bit that happens now, but you need to believe me, I was doing this so much, all my tools were getting bent up, all my hands were getting bashed up. I put serious effort into getting into this without this next bit happening, which you now know what's going to happen. So yeah, in my opinion, something like this, unless you're very lucky and it hasn't been made well, you're not going to be able to get into. Yay! Amazing. Well done, Vince. Screwdriver did it. Now, is that safety glass then? I'm going to break this out all over the bin. Otherwise, it's just going to go everywhere. Actually, I better do it in a cardboard box. Right. Good news is it appears to be some sort of safety glass, which is good, but it means I feel even better now, because if I was to try to get a replacement bit of glass from memory, I think with safety glass what they have to do is they cut it to size, and then I think they have to send it off to be, I'm going to say tempered, I don't know if that's the right word or not, to make it into safety glass. I think it involves heating it up or something and then cooling it down, and that adds to the expense. So there's no way anybody, this here is unfixable, and I don't think there's anything anybody can do, because you can see it's been glued all the way around here. So I appreciate on other models, they might well be fixable with screws, or the glue might not be as good, but the glue on this was amazing, and I hope you can see the amount of work that I put into trying to get that to come off. So this is just purely a learning thing now to see what was the problem and if we can get it working. Now let's zoom in a little bit and see if we can work out what's going on. So we've got wires going down to the PIR here, which goes to... Right, so the live from the plug goes straight into this wire nut type crimp and goes off to the PIR. And then the red and blue come up to here. So the blue's connected through to there. And the red must be, yeah, so it comes back on the blue, and the red is now the live. So when the PIR is activated, it comes up on the red here. It looks like it might go through 2 resistors. I don't know what that thing is there, but it looks pretty fancy. Then we have a bridge rectifier. Okay, to turn the AC into DC. So the plus and minus here. So why don't I... Let me just see if... on continuity, because I have a little LED tester that I got when I was working on the TV. Let me just see, does that go to here? That goes to there. That goes to there. So if I was to get my little TV thing, I should be able to put voltage into here. And I wonder, will this liven? Oh yeah, because look, then the positive's going to go through to here, is it not? Yes, positive, positive, positive. I wonder, will that liven them all up? There we go, LED backlight tester. I'm going to try not to get a shock from it this time. Again, I know this isn't going to go into service, but it's still interesting for me. Right, plug it in now and turning this on. Let's see what's going to happen if I go across here and here. Keep my hands well clear of everything. 1 second. Hair. Black one as well. Don't like losing them. Oh, well, it's saying 306 volts, but they're not livening up. I would have thought they would have livened up. Oh, see that? Right, so let's go across them. That's not working, but that looks like it's on a different circuit. They're working. They're working. So we're here. These ones, how many lit up? 4. Okay. This is interesting. So yeah, there you go. That's not working and that's not working. So we got 2. Not working. Let's go on to this one here. So they're working there. They're working. That's not working. There's lows not working. So maybe this was in service and it worked for so long until bit by bit they you know, certain ones stopped working. So you can see that's not working either. This is such a good tool. Right, I'm going to get a little Sharpie. Just going to turn this off and I'm going to mark up all the ones that are not working. And there's no real point of putting working ones in there, is there? So I'm not going to waste good LEDs on this because it's just a waste of my time and also a waste of good LEDs. So I mark up all the faulty ones and then purely to prove for definite that these LEDs are the cause of the failure, I'm going to cut them out and I'm just going to put solder blobs across them. So I'm connecting the left pad to the right pad. Yes, this is going to then make the other ones fail quicker, but this is all junk now anyway. I'll keep it because there's components on it that might end up fixing another LED light in the future where you can get access to, or maybe an indoor LED light or something like that. So let me just cut to the video now where I use my little tester and we see what's lighting up now that I've shorted up each of the faulty LEDs, cut away and shorted out each of the faulty LEDs. Right, I've just bodgily bridge them all. I'm not sure if they are actually bridged or not. Let's plug it in. And why are they not working down there, I wonder? Is it because... oh, maybe I haven't done them properly. Hold on. Wrong way. I mustn't have bridged them properly. Oh, hold on a minute. This isn't right, is it? Now, it looks like these are connected to these, connected to these, connected to these. But look, we don't have direct shorts here because it's going through the LED, but yet we do have them here. So I think I need to remove these ones, and that should liven up these ones. And then I'll have to work out what's happening here. And the same here, look. Short, short. We shouldn't have that. So let's remove this, remove this. Let's leave that for the moment. Let's remove these two, and then we'll assess again what's happening. It's to do with the path, you see. So what must have happened here is when that LED fails, everything's still going to be working. But maybe if these ones fail here and there's no path through, then these ones will stop working. Do you see what I mean? Depending on how they're wired. I might be able to just cut this off here. That's nice. There we go. Do the same here. Right, let's see if we have a short on them now. So, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing here. Right, let's plug this in again. Let's see now if those two ones are going to light up. Yes, look at that. Brilliant. So now they've lit up. So now we just have to think about this middle one and going down here. So let's see if we can work out what's happening there, because some of these are actually, some of them were working before. So what happens here? That is now feeding down here. So we only need one of them to be connected. Well, it doesn't matter. They can all be connected. That shouldn't make a difference. Connected, which then feeds these ones here. So do I need to, I think I need to chop that one off, because I presume we're going to have shorts down here now. Yes, so let's chop this one off, because look, these are all, you know, this is just passing, connecting this up to this one anyway, which I think is normal. Because if we go here and here, you can hear it. So let's chop this. Like so. Now, are we going to have a short here? No, so maybe they will work. And I think the same on this one here. Yeah, so let's chop this one. So it's interesting to know, whoops, just broke that one there. Now have we got a short? No. Right, now I think everyone that can work, I think will work. So it's quite interesting the way it's been wired up like that. Here we go. Ready? Boom. Well, there we have it. It's interesting to see the path that it takes, because if you had 60 LEDs just all in series, it would only take one of them to fail open and then nothing's going to work. So as far as the customer's concerned, their floodlight no longer works. But by having some in series and some in parallel, and then there's all rows going down, you could have probably 5 LEDs fail on this and it might still work as far as the customer's concerned, i.e. it's giving out light. So maybe this one was happy working up until the 8th LED went, and then it went really dim like that. But it was probably fine when 1 went and 2 went and 3 went and 4 went. But I think when they go, it's going to increase the likelihood of the other LEDs going, because I think they're being driven harder. So I suppose to make a product like this more reliable, you would need twice the LEDs, but then if you could run them at 50% of their brightness, they're not going to heat up as much and they would last longer. But customers are probably driven by the fact that they look at how much lumens something can output, and if you can get the amount of lumens you need with 60 LEDs, then it's going to be cheaper than another brand giving the same amount of lumens, maybe using 120 LEDs. So I fully get why it happens, but then maybe it will fail shortly after the guarantee period. Is this one fixable? Yes, you would have to replace about 10 LEDs, I haven't counted, and you would have to cut the glass to size, and then you would have to send it off to get it made into safety glass or tempered and put it back in again. So it's definitely fixable, but then you've got your other 50 LEDs that are probably also on its last legs. Nobody in their right mind would fix this particular one here. It's not worth your time and it's not worth the money. By the time you've put in all those LEDs and paid for the LEDs and got the glass made, it'll probably be just as cheap to buy a brand new one with brand new LEDs. Remember, all the other LEDs are still the same age and they're probably going to fail shortly. So this item's not repairable for the very fact that you can't get into the thing, and even when you can get in it, it's just not financially viable to do it, but it's still interesting for the video. The last thing for me to do now is just to plug it in with the actual plug, and then we can see if the bridge rectifier and that mystery component under the bridge rectifier, please let me know what that is all working. So let's do that now. All right, here we go. Woo! Look at that. Nicely bright. Right, okay, I am going to turn it off now because I'm going to keep that for spares in case I come across another one in the future. Oh, there you go, it's gone off. Oh, PIR. Oh, there we go. It recognised me, I think. I'm going to keep it because that's a good one for spares in the future. You know, the other components on the side and stuff. Well, hopefully maybe fix one that can be repairable. Well, there we have it. Let's move on to another item.
Pesky bug zapper.
Here we have an electric bug zapper, one that you would hang up like so. Now, if I plug it in here and turn it on, it doesn't look like there's any on and off switch. I can't see any light lighting up. Shall we stick a screwdriver in to see if we've actually got power to it or not? This is probably going to make me jump. Obviously, this screwdriver is insulated. Never copy what you see in my videos yourself. Are you going to fit? Yes, whoa, made me jump. So the light part of it's not working. Maybe the lamp just needs replacing, or maybe there's an electrical problem that's not feeding the lamp properly. Let's bring it over to the mat and see what it is doing. Right, so let's do this one more time. I'm unplugged. There we go. I'm just making sure I'm not going to get a shock of it. Right, it's said in the instructions that you have to twist the bottom. And you can see unlock and lock. So let's twist it. Wow, that was easy. Now, twist this maybe? Yes. Little bayonet fitting. Oh, there's a screw there to stop you doing that. It's clever. Simple. But it works. Ah, it's one of these. I wonder now, do you just pull it out? Yes, you do. Oh. Do you know? I don't know how these work. Is it going to be live neutral, live neutral? How am I going to test that without getting electrocuted? I'm going to struggle. If I've got another one of these, then I could swap the lamp, but right now I haven't got another one. There's no point, resistance, I'm not going to have anything on these because these are like fluorescent, aren't they? I don't think it's going to, they don't work like that. So I don't think I'm going to have anything across here and here. Oh, we do, I never knew that. I wonder why we haven't got a light down one side. Nothing there. Nothing there. But we have got a reading here. 2.65 ohms. And 11 ohms. We've got a difference. As far as I can see, that was connected properly. I wonder, would I be able to put my meter to DC, rest the leads in here and plug it in? You know what I mean? If I was to, I wonder if I was to rest them in, would I be able to see any reading? Then if we see 240 volts AC, mind you, I wonder if it was to short against here, whether the high voltage would travel down, induce down the leads and ruin my thing. Obviously, if I had a light, I would just place it in here, but I haven't. So I think I'm going to try to do it like this. Extension lead here. I'm going to plug it in and then turn it on from across the room, and we'll see whether we have voltage there. Okay. Right, I'm plugging it in now and resetting. What we got? Anything? What we got there? 12 volts AC, that means nothing. No, is that just a bad connection? What's that about? I'm not sure, if I'm honest with you. I don't know what voltage they're supposed to be on. I presume it's going to be 230 volts. Maybe we'll just take the lid off. Let's turn this off. We'll take the lid off and see what it's doing. I'm going to leave it just a little while to discharge. Whoa, worried about my leads, pulling them out, you see, because I might short against the metal prongs and send very high voltage into that. Well, unplugged, so I am going to short. Let's unplug these. There we go. And I'm going to short here now. Okay. There we go. Nervous Neris. Obviously, if I'd like, I'd put it straight in there. Let's undo these screws here, and then we can actually see what's happening up the top. If you haven't guessed by now, I am not a professional in these repairs, and my downfall is that I keep trying to do new stuff all the time. If I was used to working on bug zappers, I would know them inside out. If I was used to working with fluorescent tubes, I would know them inside out. But most things I do, it's often the first time I'm in them, so I'm just trying to use general fault finding techniques to work out what's what. But that is very similar to lots of other people out there. Obviously, if you're a specialist in bug zapper repairs, you're watching this and you're shouting at the screen. But there's 99.9% of you out there that are also not specialists in bug zapper repairs. So we're just trying to use basic fault finding to see if it works. Sometimes it turns out to be idiotic, other times it can fix. So yeah, that's the backstory. Anyway, while I'm doing that, let's give a shout out to the My Mate Vince Massive. They are the top level Patreons. The members are Keemon Services, Kip Hakes on YouTube, and Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeps.com, and DJ VG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Russ Melanson, Rickard Bergland, Shamsa Al Sawadi, Stuart Park, Stephen from the Broken Past on YouTube, Lee Benz, and AJ Computer Services UK. Many thanks to each and every one of you. Aha! Right. So we've got it. Oh, here we go. Look at that. It's been dropped. Wiggly wobbly. Look at that. Wibbly wobbly world of its own. Ah, well there we go. And I presume that's to feed this here. So I would say that that's been dropped. And because it's maybe a little bit top heavy, it took the brunt off the impact. You would think it'd be more this one because the wires are against it. Maybe the wires made it more stable. This is where the high voltage comes out. Be careful when you're undoing screws near a coil like that, because if I slip with my screwdriver, it wouldn't take too much to damage that enamelled wire. That's what you get on quartz watches a lot. Sometimes people slip when undoing the screw to take out the battery, and they hit the coil, and then the motor doesn't work. I've got to be careful in case these caps are charged up, because they're 250 volts. Can I take this off? Yes, I can. Right, okay. Let me just check the caps here and here. 14 volts. And here. 16 volts. Just going to discharge them quickly. I've got resistors in here. Turn the energy into heat. Yeah, there we go, dead. And dead, 0.3 of a volt. Right, interestingly, we've already got a load of flux around here. So hold on, what's happening here? Oh, so it's the actual solder. Do you know what? I think they're still making a contact, believe it or not. I don't know if that is the fault. It's faulty, but I don't know if that's the fault, because can you see here? They still look like they're actually attached. So let's do a quick continuity test. Yes, we are. How about when we do that? Yeah, we still are. Yeah, so that's still going to be Yeah, I think that's still going to be working, look. Not sure. Where do you go? You go to here. Ah, there you go. That's the problem here. It's this one here where it's broken here. Because that track doesn't go anywhere. And I bet you this one's alright. Yeah. Yeah, so it's this one here. Okay, definitely found a problem. I am going to add a little bit of glue in here to try to get them to sit down again. What am I going to do here now? Do I need to do that? Or do I just need to scrape it all back? I know, I just need to scrape it back, don't I? And probably run wires. Mind you, this component needs to be held in place. This is slightly awkward. But it's only going to be awkward for the next person fixing it. And realistically, I don't think this is going to be getting fixed again. It might not go faulty again, you know? Right, I'm going to take a picture of this so I know which way it goes back on. Well, I'm going to take this component out and then see what's left. So I'm just going to put leaded solder everywhere and wick it away. Right, that's all away. Do you know what? I think I got kind of lucky there because that's come out. Just give that a little clean up. It's hot, 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 as you would expect. 1303T. I'm just going to Google that out of curiosity. Right, it's an NPN silicon transistor. I'm going to say, because it says here, power transistors. I'm going to say that's what's responsible for turning on the light. Let's get some isopropyl, clean this up, and then see what we can do to fix up the pads. Now that I've still got the pads there, because I thought I was going to be left with nothing, and then this would just be kind of just wanting to flap up and down, I thought I was going to have to attach it with little wires. But if I can clean this up without breaking it, I think I can just grind back either side and let the solder hold everything in place. Okay, but that's gone now. Where's that gone? It's going to be in here somewhere, isn't it? I did it so gently as well. Oh, it's here. It's here. Excellent. I've still got it. It's here. Right. Right, let's zoom right in. And try to make a nice job of this. So we're going to go here. We're going to go here. And here. Oops, it's gone. And here. Right, I am going to put a tiny bit on here. This is, it's failed now, but it's done really well. I've never had super glue last as long as this. But the inside hasn't failed, it's just a nozzle. So I'm going to put this in here and put this on here, so that's going to be ample there. Put that back on. Clean up my tweezers. Somehow I've already got it on my fingers. Right, so let's zoom in and put a tiny bit on here. So I'm going to put a little bit here. Like that, and then use the other bit of the tweezer to try to get this on here. Look quite nice. Now another bit in here. Fold you flat. I'll have to bend that when it's dry. Here we go. Well, I'm going to leave that dry for 5 minutes or so. But I think that will give it a bit more strength. I think that should be dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the solder on it to begin with, and then we'll put the component in afterwards, and hopefully that means it will stay in its place. So there we go. I'll put another dollop on when it's when the component's on. Right, that one went a lot better. Right, I've got to free up this hole now. There we go. Well, I don't think it's too bad. We'll put the component in, and then we can bend. You know, we can put the solder all over there. I still think if someone was desoldering this in the future, those pads are going to lift straight off. I don't think the super glue is going to hold. Right, so that one goes this way round because we need this big lump of it towards that code. So I am going to put it there like so. Now we have to solder this in place. There we go, it's off already. Well, that didn't last very long, did it? Well, I made the effort. Well, I'm just going to flood it with solder now, make it really blobby so that it fully connects to the bit that I've ground back. I think the heat, I just think that the super glue can't cope with that heat. Right, anyway, you can see that's absolutely flooded, and that's gone on to the bit that we ground back. Let's give that a clean. I was going to put some UV mask on it or nail varnish, but I don't need to because I've covered all the bits up with solder. Right, so you can see we've still got demarcation, and it's not loose because it's attached to the actual transistor itself. So that is now making a contact with here, and this is definitely making a contact with here, and this is making a contact with here. Are you broken here, or is that a hair? Ooh. Is that a hair? I think that might be. I don't think there's anything wrong there. I think it was just a slight a crack in the solder mask, or it might not have even been a crack, it might have been a hair or something. So I could just put a bit of nail varnish or UV mask on that, but I'm going to put solder on just in case there is some sort of hairline thing I can't see, and also it will stop it from oxidizing. Here we go. Now I'm not sure if I've asked this in a video already or whether it's been edited out, but you know, you can get the silicone stuff. That'd be quite nice to put a bit of silicone on here and here, because then it would just stop the vibration, especially if this is hanging up. If it kind of got knocked or something, then it wouldn't take much for those solder ones to break again. So could you let me know what people put on it? Does it come out of a gun, you know, like the same way as you use silicone in your bathroom, mastic, or does it come in a tube? But I often see components will have like white silicone around the place. So if you could let me know what that's called, and I would get some, because I'd like to put just a little dribble here and here on future fixes. Just going to put a little dot where I got rid of the trace. There you go. Right, let's put this back together and see if it's working. Right, here goes. I think I am going to, I'm going to plug it in with the extension lead again. Let's make a little bit of room so nothing shorts out. And we'll get the zapper screwdriver ready, so I can reach in through here and do that. Okay, we're ready. It's going into the extension lead. I'm going to go across the room and turn it on. Turn it on now. Yay! There we go. Amazing. The bit I hate, but you lot love. Poor mosquito. Be brave, Vince. Why does it make me jump so much? Such a scary sound. There we have it. Working. Fantastic. I like that one there. So I think what's happened is it got dropped in transit, and I think the weight off that transistor just knocked it. So there we have it. I got lucky on this one, or I could say unlucky, because a lot of things were already working, which is a bit of a shame when you buy things for a fix-it video. But there were some things that were slightly challenging. Altogether though, a nice little job lot, and quite interesting to go through the items. It amazes me that people buy this sort of stuff, but they clearly do, because some of it has a huge amount of reviews on Amazon. I think they're priced where people don't have to think too much. If you see a bug zapper for £20–30, most people are not going to put much research into it. Now you're going to ask me how much I paid for this, and also is there profit to be made? It's hard because I bought them along with loads of other items as well. If I was to take a guess, I would say it would be around about £50. So in this instance, even if I was just to sell that jewel hopper there, and I would be very happy selling that, because as far as I can see, it's working just fine. It was just user error. That one there, you might even get close to £50 on its own. And then if you were to include the pet fountain there and the bin, you can see there is profit. But when you take into account your time and delivery fees and auction site fees, you would be unlikely to make much money. But if you enjoy fixing stuff, then I think it's great to fix your own items, and then it saves you having to go out and buy new stuff. Now, if you like junk like this, and I appreciate a lot of it is junk, then you're in luck, because look what I've gone and bought myself. Yes, check it out. There's over 300 kilograms of faulty Amazon returns there, and this is going to be featured in my Advent series specials. So at the beginning of December, I'm going to be doing a video every single day all the way up to Christmas Eve, so an Advent Amazon special. So if you haven't already subscribed, think about subscribing. If you like these kind of videos here, then I'm sure you will like the Advent challenge that I'm going to be doing in just over a month's time. If you enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all again very soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Rusty red on her shoulder, I was cleaning her shoe when it clicked on the trot over in the bright morning dew. We brushed and we braided dandelions and chewed. It was a mutual arrangement we both saw into. Can she walk in the fire? Can she run in the rain? Can she make it up the mountainside? Can she make it down again? I have often wondered if she'll go and jump the fence. she keep